This is noting that the highlands in focus were not part of the territory ceded to the government of Cameroon by the 1913 Anglo-German treaties and the International Court of Justice decision of October 2002. As such, the encroachment into these territories is not only legal, but has led to huge economic loss of over 2,560 oil wells and gas revenues, which ought to accrue to Nigeria. Also, very pathetically, it is a monumental national embarrassment that foreign laws are imposed by the Cameroon gendarmes on Nigerians living in the 16 Nigerian ancestral homes and villages and the St. Mangroves Islands. Hence, I'm compelled to move this motion in the following terms: that the Senate observe that the mangrove islands and waters situated at the geographical location called a Fiat in the local government area of Akwa Ibom State, marking the terminal end of the Gulf of Guinea down seaward to the Atlantic Ocean coast, is currently under the administrative control of the Republic of Cameroon illegally and contrary to the 1913 Anglo-German treaties, International Court of Justice judgment of October 2002, and Section 12, Sub 1, Sub 2, Sub 3 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. Aware that the islands and waters are economically important to this region, as it holds copious fishing routes and approximately over 2,560 oil wells, as well as gas revenues that should accrue to the Nigerian government, but which are lost to the Republic of Cameroon as a result of illegal annexation of these highlands by the Republic of Cameroon. The Senate is further concerned that Nigerians living in the said mangrove islands, comprising about 16 villages and ancestral homes in an area recognized and provided for the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, and which was not ceded to Cameroon Republic by the 1913 treaties and the International Court of Justice judgment. Be uncomfortable with the Cameroon soldiers in their communities, even when no Cameroonian lives in that community, took to an open protest. See Punch newspaper of Saturday, March 19, 2016, page 19. Further aware that 2 months after the protest of March 2016, Cameroon President Mr. Paul Biya, during his visit to Nigeria on the 5th of May 2016, inquired from the former President Muhammadu Buhari about Nigeria's position on Bakassi Peninsula and the Nigerian-Cameroon hydrocarbon joint ventures, and was informed by Mr. President Buhari that Nigeria had accepted the International Court of Justice judgment, but that the technical aspect of international waters, which is the embodiment of the said Nigerian mangrove islands and waters, is yet to be fully determined. See Vanguard of newspaper of 5th of May 2016, page 8, and Leadership newspaper of 5th May 2016, page 6. Further worried that the continued expansionist foreign policy of the Republic of Cameroon after independence of our country by illegal annexation and vigorous pursuit for the 16 villages of Nigerian mangrove islands, waters and oil constitute a breach of international laws, an affront of Nigeria's territorial integrity, and unlawful exploitation of Nigeria's economic resources, as well as a national embarrassment. The Senate recalls that Resolution 16, Sub 1 of the first ordinary session of the Assemblies of Head of States and Government of the Organization of African Unity, held in Cairo from 17th to 21st of July 1962. All African nations, including the Republic of Cameroon, pledged to respect the borders of other African states after attainment of national independence. Cognizant that the Anglo-German treaties of 11 March 1913 laid the mangrove islands firmly within the Nigerian territory as they lay west of the River and serves as the official borderline between Nigeria and the Republic of Cameroon, as reaffirmed by International Court of Justice judgment on the 10th day of October 2002. Senate further observed that although the International Court of Justice had ordered both Nigeria and Cameroon to withdraw sovereignty over areas that were not entitled to under the 1913 Anglo-German treaties, which resulted in Nigeria hurriedly ceding over 32 villages from Adamawa to Lake Chad areas to the Republic of Cameroon. Cameroon Republic has continued to hold up Nigerian territories to ransom, thus adversely affecting the people and the economy of the entire nation. Therefore, Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, the Senate resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the illegal annexation of Nigerian mangrove highlands at the Fiando by the Republic of Cameroon and report with necessary recommendations as shall be directed by the Senate. I hereby move this motion for consideration and adoption by the Nigerian Senate.
On our sovereignty, there's a complaint before Your Excellency that the sovereignty of Nigeria is challenged by Cameroon. And as a matter of fact, we need to report this to the United Nations because the convention under which the law of sea which we sign is under the United Nations Convention. The material fact here, Mr. President, is about the law of the sea and the nautical mile of engagement, which is 1,804 kilometers. And when you violate this, a lot of issues even beyond oil comes up. Pollution, environmental disaster, right to fishing, and all embedded in this. And the State Senate cannot keep quiet when there's a complaint about the invasion of the sovereignty of Nigeria. And that's why the other time I cited the Peace of Westphalia of 1648, which embodies the sovereignty of every country. And I come to invite Your Excellency to this very important motion before us, that one, the sovereignty of our country is in complaint. Two, there's a violation of the right of sea, particularly the nautical mile of engagement. And this is very fundamental because we need to look at this. So it's on this note I invite Your Excellency, Senate President, and very, very distinguished colleagues who have made fantastic, brilliant submission of this motion to a serious engagement. Things like ad hoc committee, immediate response from the Senate to the executive, advising the executive on what to do very critically, particularly in the protection of our sovereignty. I don't want to take much of your time. I align myself with those submissions that are brilliantly made on the floor of this Senate today. But again, for the first time, Mr. President, under your presidency at the 10th Senate, there was a report today, very historical, that there was a violation of nautical miles and the sovereignty of Nigeria. This can bring environmental disaster, it can affect revenue, it can cause economic problem, it can cause security damage if we are not the ministry. So there is need to get Cameroon reported to the United Nations as a violation of the United Nations Convention. They are the ones violating it, not Nigeria. So that when ICJ meet again, judgment is to be given under advisory notes, not even submission of counsel. Then the report of the Senate will be very critical and be accepted as one of the reference points that ICJ can rule upon. We must report this to the United Nations Convention, in which we are signatory. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I speak for the people of Bakassi. Distinguished colleagues, the unjust ICJ judgment 23 years ago has caused untold and unimaginable hardship to the people of Cross River State, specifically the people of Bakassi. That judgment had certain conditions, such as the appropriate resettlement and reintegration of the people of Bakassi. Till today, that has not been effected. Beyond that, there were issues that arose from the ceding of Bakassi, such as the loss of oil wells from Cross River State. These are issues that have led to untold hardship once again. We have internally displaced persons in Cross River State, not just in Cross River South, in Cross River Central and parts of Cross River North. Distinguished colleagues, prior to the 23rd day of September 1987, Cross River State and Akwa Ibom State were one state. This infers that issues affecting the border or the territory of Akwa Ibom State also indeed affect Cross River State. I would like to propose that during the discussion on the prayers that have been proposed by my friend and colleague Senator Aneka Mbasi, that we expand the scope of this motion, which deals with just the mangrove islands, to disputed territories within the Cross River Akwa Ibom region and Cameroon. Thank you very much, sir.
State. Mr. President, the issues before us are historical. We know about the judgment of 2002. The problem wasn't the judgment itself. There have been judgments between Palestinians and the Israelis that they were never respected. There were judgments between India and Pakistan in Kashmir that were never respected. The issue was that our government then, at that time, under President Obasanjo, hurriedly agreed to hand over Nigerian territory to Cameroon. For whatever reason, that was wrong. But I am not going to dwell in the past. May I now seek a way forward? Mr. President, the first one, we know that the English-speaking part of Cameroon, the so-called Ambazonians, have been clamoring for their independence. And all they're asking is for Nigeria to recognize them. And in return, they are prepared to give back the Nigerian territory that was given to Cameroon. So we need to look at how we can negotiate and create some problems for Cameroon by negotiating with those who are asking for independence from the Ambazonian people of Cameroon. By the way, they are the English-speaking part of Cameroon. Secondly, Mr. President, we need to review the ICJ judgment as implemented. It is never too late to review these judgments. And Mr. President, I am aware that we do have some military that are capable of protecting Nigeria's integrity. What is happening, Mr. President? Why our Navy, our military, why are they not there protecting our Nigerians who are being molested and harassed? Why are they not up and doing? I know, as I said, that this is a historical matter. I know that in the past people have said, oh, Cameroon is being backed by France. Mr. President, I am also aware that our current president, President Tinubu, is a friend of the French government. This matter should be taken up at that level, and we should be looking at how we can review the entire territorial disputes once and for all. It has come to the point where we cannot no longer just leave it to senators from Akwa Ibom or Cross River State or Ondo or whatever. We are talking about Nigeria's integrity, Nigeria's territorial integrity. So it's either we seek the military intervention alongside the same time talking with the French. Mr. President, we are not going to achieve anything leaving this matter to Ministry of Justice or Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We've gone beyond them. If the judgment of 2002 was not implemented, I'm sure Nigeria's military would have still remained where they were occupying at that time. Mr. President, I do support the motion entirely. Thank you.